Well, then the fact is no one is above the law.
Alina Hobbit is
I just want to quickly remark, it's amazing. No one's above the law. Certain people are above the law, though, aren't they? Certain people are above the law. Some people are below the law. It seems that Donald Trump is far below the law. There's no justice for him. He gets no due process, nothing whatsoever. But of course, some people can insider trade their way to hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars. That's all right. They're above the law. Some people can, fraudulently fill out forms to obtain weapons, and they're above the law. That's okay. Some people can take documents that only the president has access to, take them home, store them next to their Corvette. When they were not president, they were vice president, so they couldn't have declassified them. And, that's all right. That's not a problem. It's interesting who is above and who is not above the law when they say that no one's above the law. But, we've got more important things to get into. Look, if I move fast today, I apologize, but I've got a lot on my plate, and I just wanted to hit this real quickly because I felt it was important when I saw it all developing today. So let's roll right on.
spokesperson for the former president, and she joins us now. Alina, great to have you back on the program. Based upon what happened yesterday, do you think Donald J. Trump will be able to get a fair trial?
No chance. There's no chance of a fair trial here. Remember, just because it's a jury doesn't mean that the judge can't sway them to go one way or another or make things difficult so that jury selection is impossible. That's what's happening yesterday. They spent the first few hours doing things that probably should have been done before a jury was waiting. That discourages jurors to...
Not only is a fair trial impossible, particularly in Donald Trump's case, I mean, is there anyone whose name is more known, more loved, or more hated? So it's impossible. You're never going to find 12 jurors that are impartial. It's an absurd notion. And in New York, of all places, in Manhattan. So this whole thing is, every bit of this has been a sham. Everything he's been hit with has been a sham. Everyone that's watching it knows it. Can you imagine this happening to you? If they can do this to a man as powerful as Donald Trump, imagine what they can do to you once they simply throw the rule of law out the window for political reasons, which is what they're doing. I mean, who knows? Are they going to come after me next or you next because of something you posted online, or perhaps you've run for office as I have? Are they going to go for you? They might. So you know what? I don't care what side of the coin you're on. I don't understand it if you support what's happening in the world today as opposed to the peaceful world we had under Donald Trump when things were pretty damn good for everyone globally and within our own communities. But you know what? No matter what side of the coin you're on, you shouldn't be for this. You can't be for this. This could happen to you or your children next.
Want to sit on a panel, and then they come in and they're told that they can't get off from Passover if they observe it, and that you're going to have no break other than Wednesday in the middle of the week. So that messes up everybody's schedules, and people don't want to sit for that. That's why we saw half of the jurors say that they could not be impartial and want to walk.
So what's your reaction, Alina, to the judge saying, we understand that former President Trump wants to go to the Supreme Court for his other case. It's not going to happen. Might not be able to take off one day to see his son graduate high school. Is it standard?
I keep hitting the wrong damn spot for pause. Think about that. He's telling me he can't go to the Supreme Court for his other case. So this case is interfering with his legal rights to due process in other cases. That's shocking. That should blow your mind right there. It's amazing. And imagine if it was you. Again, imagine if it was you. You don't have your opportunity for appeal. That's just stripped away from you because they feel like it. This is such an obvious setup. It's incredible.
For judges to turn requests like that down, or do they make those sorts of accommodations usually?
No, accommodations are always made by judges. That's why you go over the schedule. If there wasn't...
These types of accommodations are very common. They're always made. As a matter of fact, quick story. When I was running for governor in Delaware many years ago, I had someone bring a lawsuit against me, which was completely bogus. Just for the record, I won it completely, hands down. It was absurd. It was brought for revenge reasons and political reasons as well. I went through a lot of the same things that Trump's gone through. They said things about me in the press that were absurd. I wasn't on his scale. I don't know that anyone has ever been on his scale, but they did everything they could to destroy me. Someone filed a lawsuit against me. I went to court. I argued in the first moments of the trial that we were nearing the election, that it was going to interfere with my election, my campaign, and they They postponed it for months. They postponed it till after the election, and then I went in and I won. So, this is not, it's not uncommon at all to make accommodations. And this is the presidential level, for God's sakes, the front runner in the presidential election for the United States of America.
Now, DA Bragg is bringing this case after the president had announced that he was running for office again.
Rush job that Merchan is doing. He said, well, I may grant the president allowance to go to see his son graduate if we're moving along. That's kind of like a warning shot. Don't slow this thing up, Donald Trump's attorney, and i.e. don't slow it up doing your job, attorneys, which is to advocate for the best interest of your client.
Imagine knowing that your attorney's been handcuffed for doing their due diligence, turning over every rock, doing everything they can to give you a fair trial. And the judge is telling them, if you do that, I will find other ways to punish your client. Just imagine this. Just imagine if your attorneys were being told that their time was limited by the judge, which is never done. The judge does not interfere with your defense, or at least they sure as hell aren't supposed to. And in this case, they're clearly doing that. And the world should be shocked by this. The world is laughing at us. We are a banana republic. This is so political. It's incredible. Anyone that can't see this is pure politics. The justice system being used against the front runner in the presidential race is mind-blowing and disgusting.
Well, this trial is expected to last, till June? And the former president is required to be there every day that this trial is.
You catch that? Required to be there every day till June so that he's off of the campaign trail. While Biden, ineffectively perhaps, but nevertheless, he has the opportunity and right to do whatever he wants with his campaign, but Trump is handcuffed into a courtroom. Let that sink in.
Session.
True. Suggesting that this is election interference, that it's the Biden Democrats behind this prosecution, when in fact election interference is at the heart of this matter, because this hush money payment to Stormy Daniels was to keep it quiet, to not.
Jonathan Lemire, he's been posting on his social media site, Truth Social, complaining about his gag order, among other things. The former president.
Now, if you don't already know who the judge and the judge's family is, just stay tuned throughout this video. You'll find out, and you'll see what Donald Trump's bitching about. And of course, this judge should recuse himself. Any legitimate judge would recuse themselves under this situation. It is disgusting. It is incredible. I can't even put it into words. I'm so angry. I lose my train of thought when I get just so frustrated over what I'm seeing happen within this what was once the greatest country in the world. I don't even know what it's becoming now. I'm a patriot. I love the United States of America, but I don't even know if the United States of America is here or will be here for much longer if we don't correct these things. The people, you can't stand for this. You can't stand for this. If you listen, I'm a big Donald Trump supporter, okay? If you hate Donald Trump, you still can't stand for this. You just can't let our country fall like this. You can't do it.
Is under a gag order because of things he said about the judge's daughter and other people, and potentially endangering their lives.
Well, we knew the threat was there, and now it's being carried out. Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg has now filed a motion to hold former President Trump in contempt of court, claiming he violated the gag order from the judge imposed on him by publishing 3 social media posts relating to 2 known witnesses in his criminal trial here in New York, Michael Cohen and the sex film worker Stormy Daniels. Bragg is urging Manhattan Judge Merchan to also warn Trump that future violations of the gag order can be punished not only with additional fines, but also with the term of incarceration of up to 30 days.
Just as we find out that Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg wants to hold the former president in contempt of court. He has filed a motion that actually could seek the president going behind bars if he continues and not cut it out. Bragg's motion to the court asking that the president be held in contempt centers on 3 social media posts that the former president made recently. The prosecutor says they are violations of Judge Juan Merchan's gag orders. Bragg's office is demanding that Trump be fined $1,000 for each of those postings where he attacked Stormy Daniels and Micheal Cohen on Truth Social last week. In one of them, he called them, quote, two sleazebags who have, with their lies and misrepresentations, cost our country dearly. In its motion,
we have a Trump-hating judge. We have a judge who shouldn't be on this case. He's totally conflicted. But this is a trial that should never happen.
You have a judge that's given donations to Democrats whose daughter worked for Kamala Harris's 2020 campaign. And you also have Bragg, who's...
Did you hear that? Did you hear that accurately? Let me see if I can go back a little bit for you here. It's a hell of a statement. This judge did not recuse himself.
Has given donations to Democrats whose daughter worked for Kamala Harris's 2020 campaign. And you also have Bragg, who's raised over $800,000, saying, if you go with me, I'm going after Donald Trump.
And then
So
a
if
quick
you
thought on missing his son's high school graduation. That is a punitive decision if the judge indeed goes through with that. I have been at a million scheduling hearings where criminal and civil, where many things come into play and the judge acquiesces, including letting prisoners out from incarceration to attend things like funerals and the like. So if he doesn't let him attend his kid's high school graduation, that is punitive before any type of conviction. It has no place here in the country.
And I think that the highlight for me, the part that makes me the most angry, it's not anything I just told you. It's the fact that the president, Joe Biden, is in Pennsylvania raising money right now while they've tied up Donald Trump in court yet again. That is election interference.
Doctor.
You know, Harris, to Ben's...
That is the definition of election interference. The outright definition. They're not even hiding it anymore. You know why? Because they don't care anymore. Because they don't believe in any rule of law and they plan to rig every election right on down the line. They don't care.
Point, the optics of this are really terrible. And I'm specifically talking on the gag order. I mean, it is the most un-American thing I have seen. It is unilateral silencing of former President Trump, when on the flip side, you have the judge's daughter, who is a high-level executive of a digital media company that has taken tens of millions of dollars, not just from Kamala Harris's campaign, Adam Schiff, many other Democrats, and that is how she gets her bread and butter. So you're silencing Donald Trump on the family of the judge and the DA, but you are not silencing the family on the former president himself. I mean, this is very un-American. And if you cannot acknowledge the implicit bias, whether you're a Democrat or Republican, I mean, you're not paying attention.
I want to get to this before I come to you, Rachel. The Fox News legal editor, Carrie Kupak-Urban, about the gag order on the Faulkner Focus yesterday. Let's watch.
And yet no gag order when it comes to Michael Cohen, but one for Donald Trump. And the reason that's especially important in this situation is because Michael Cohen can go on TV, he can do media interviews, he can say whatever he wants without consequence because he's not under penalty of perjury, something that he would having been convicted of that before. And so, so that's problem number one. Number two is my understanding is as we speak, prosecutors are currently trying to get the judge to hold Trump in contempt for violating his gag order. That gag order is only applicable to, or it's applicable rather to the witnesses. So he can talk about the judge and he can talk about Bragg, but not the witnesses. But to your point, Harris, when the star witness, the case that is, the entire case hinging upon this one person is a known liar, that makes it pretty frustrating for a defendant not to be able to talk about.
Yeah. They're trying to put Donald Trump at the same speed as Joe Biden, right? Correct. They want to tie him up in court. They want to make sure he's, he can't do rallies until 9 o'clock at night because he's got to be in court all day. They're trying to demoralize him by saying you can't.
Can you imagine the rigors of running a presidential campaign, especially at full speed the way Donald Trump does? Can you imagine the physical, the emotional demands of doing what he does, the huge rallies, he's out there constantly, he's always speaking, he'll do any show, and he's going to go to court all day long and then go do that? Everyone has physical limitations. Everyone has physical limitations, okay? So they're going to say, Donald Trump's, he's an older guy. Well, yeah, he is. So what? You know what? He's in great health. He gets out there. He does a hell of a job. I don't care if you were 18 years old. This would wear on you mentally, physically, financially. They're doing everything they can to destroy this man. They're going after his family and his children. This is disgusting.
can't go to your child's graduation, treating him like he's, a criminal.
He also couldn't go to his mother-in-law's funeral, who I don't know, but from my understanding, and I tend to think it's true, he had a very close relationship with. So they're just stripping him of all human. They want to strip him of all human dignity. It's appalling.
All of these things are so unfair. And to your
Trump
point,
is in a box. And I wonder if Americans realize.
I think they realize, I realize, I know many of you realize. I hope everyone opens their eyes and really figures out what's going on here, because this is an atrocity. I mean, how many people have shed their blood, lost their lives, limbs to defend what they thought was, our Constitution, our way of life, our free country. And, I thought this was interesting. I'm going to end it with this. This is a letter from Stormy from quite a while back. It says, "To whom it may concern, over the past few weeks, I have been asked countless times to comment on reports of an alleged sexual relationship I had with Donald Trump many, many years ago. The fact of the matter is that each party to this alleged affair denied its existence since in 2006, 2000, and that should be 11, I guess, 2016, 2017, and now again in 2018. I am not denying this affair because I was paid hush money, as has been reported in overseas owned tabloids. I am denying this affair because it never happened. I can't barely see this damn screen. I will have no further comment on this matter. Please feel free to check me out on Instagram at whatever." Okay, so which version do you want to believe? Do you want to believe what she said then, what they say now? This is all crazy. By the way, all this hush money nonsense was investigated by the FEC, who oversees and has jurisdiction over all of this, and they found no wrongdoing. So we'll end it with that. Just let that sink in. The actual people that have jurisdiction over this, the actual people that investigate and prosecute these crimes, said there was no crime. You know why? Because there was no crime. All right, I got to get back to work. I got a lot of things going on, like I said today. I love you all. Have a great day. Keep up the good fight. Later.